Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pray with me. Lord, we come to you thankful for the many blessings that you've given us on this earth. We're thankful for this opportunity to serve this school district, this community, and these students. Lord, please be with us tonight as we go through this meeting. Give us wisdom and help us to always act in the best interest of the students. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So on the agenda, we will call this meeting to order. Note that we do have a quorum present, 3 board members absent, and the agenda was posted in a timely fashion. We're going to move 4 and 3 in the reverse order. We're going to next do the recognition of the students of the month in the board conference room if the board will move forward.
All right, Miss Howe, you brought a crowd of folks. Welcome. We're glad everybody's here.
Yes,
Hope everybody has a nice Merry Christmas when this is over. We'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so we're going to start with the oldest ones first, so then the youngest ones can kind of see how to do it. Parents, if you want to come up and take a picture, that's perfectly fine. I'll call their name and then they'll walk by and they will shake the hand members of the board. If they don't want to, that's okay too. They can just come up and kind of wave.
We'll wave at it.
And then we'll stand over to the side and we'll take a picture in the foyer when we're all done. Okay? So we have second 6-week Soaring Cardinal still. This is going to be pre-K through, I think we have 1 3rd grader and a few 2nd graders. So we're going to start with the Soaring Cardinal for 3rd grade in Miss Wyndham's class is Harvey Chitty. Then we're going to go to 2nd grade in Miss Norris's class. We have Sebastian Wynn.
Take your time. You're all right.
Also, for Miss Norris's class is Talia Orozco. Then we have 1st grade, Miss Cole's class, Max Epperson.
Good handshake right there. Good job.
Also from Miss Cole's class is Laurel Estes.
Good job. Good job.
Miss Carol's class in 1st grade is Addison Cooper. Also in Miss Carol's class is Jonathan Perryman. From Miss Turner's class in kindergarten is Briar Howe.
Good job, buddy.
Also from Miss Turner's class is Mia Sue.
Good job.
Miss Higgs' class in pre-K is Lillian Cooper. Do you want to just wave, Lillian? You don't have to shake their hand. Okay, you can just wave at them, that's fine. Say hi.
Good job.
Okay. Sister, you just say good job, Lillian. Wade Hearn. Then we have from Miss Pate's class is Blakely Sims.
Yeah.
Also from Miss Pate's class is Zane Ferradondo. And then we had one that wasn't from a classroom, that was from Miss Hudgens. She chose Emma Jones. And then last is our staff member of the month, and that is Miss Tanya Gordon. She's an aide with us this year. She's new to MAUD this year, and she's been fantastic. She's a team player and goes above and beyond. So we're very happy to have her. Oh, did I skip Miss Stewart? I'm so sorry. Miss Stewart. Yeah, it's on my paper and I skipped it. I'm so sorry. Miss Stewart is Abel Tobler. That's it. We saved the best for last. And Harper Moles. Now.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. All right, middle school, high school students of the month. I'll start with our 6th grade. Go youngest to oldest. May take a little while to clear out a little bit. Quite a few of them. All right. 6th grade student of the month is a student who has really excelled in the classroom. Our teachers have been very complimentary of the hard work that she's been putting in. Miss Madeline Sanders. You go, man. You got me, bro. Just put up my kid all the time. Our 7th grade student of the month is a student who, every time we go around campus and we're seeing him walk around and stuff, he's always been very friendly to everyone. He opens the doors for everybody. He's been caught being good several times in this past month. Mr. Kaiser McKelvey. Our 8th grade student of the month is a young lady who is probably one of the hardest workers I've seen, not just in the classroom, but also down in the athletics area. She is always extremely pleasant. Every time I go see her or talk to her, even when I'm teasing her sometimes, she's just always positive. Miss Kira Montalban. Our 9th grade student of the month entering the high school is a new student for us, but he has been lights out since he's been here. In band, he is one of the first ones that you see dancing around, getting after it. He has been a really big positive influence down at the band, and we're fired up to have him. Mr. Brady Carter. sophomore 10th grader of the month is a student that there's definitely one of those things that, you know, you see somebody and you think, that kid's a professional kid. He just handles himself so well in everything he does. Always involved, getting after the Stuco and other activities, helping out everywhere he can, Mr. Gavin Robinson.
Congratulations.
Our 11th grader, which I'm glad he's still got another year left, but I'm going to tell you right now, the band is probably just singing his praises. I would say he's probably the heartbeat of what goes on down there at the band. He is definitely the big part of why we get to have a drum line the way it is. He has been incredible. His talent is unreal. I see a lot of big things for him, Mr. Hunter McCain.
On the stage said concert, and I want to be great.
I'll announce my next one, even though I know he's not here. He had to go to work tonight. And once you start working for some companies, that they have like a 2-week window there. So I didn't get to get him up here as far as his schedule is concerned. But our 12th grade student of the month is a kid. He's one of my last ones that I got to coach in baseball. And I can't tell you how fired up I am for him. He's such a really good kid, Mr. Evan Acosta. My staff member of the month, without a doubt, I can't say it's really a month kind of deal for her. She is there every month, and she's always putting in extra time, probably even overtime, if you would say. She goes above and beyond. She carries our kids to and from school. Sometimes she's up at 4 o'clock in the morning baking something for us just so that we can have a treat. She takes care of our seniors for cards. She is an amazing woman. I just can't even tell you how much I appreciate her. For our staff member of the month, it's Miss Sandy Neal.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, I'll take mine. My group outside, we'll go take a picture over by the Christmas tree. And then, of course, as always, you're more than welcome to be excused at that point.
If you want to stay, it'd be the best 6 hours of your life.
Ready to get out of here.
I'm really glad that I'm come after that.
Still got a crowd of one.
Now we'll go back to item 3, conduct public hearing to discuss Mod ISD's rating on the state's financial accountability system.
We'll turn this over to Mr. Van Deaver to give us a brief presentation of our first report and allow any questions.
And this will be brief, although I would like to tell you about every item that we scored perfect on, but I'll save you that. You'll see at the top left, first we passed, which that's really good, with a rating of A, but then just below that you'll see our district score is 100. So that means we were perfect on everything on the sheet. Then I'll just a moment to look at these disclosures. Item number 2, we're required to list amounts received by superintendent board members for travel and meals, and so that's listed on that page. And on the back side, item number 5, we're required to list any business transactions that we hold with members of the board, and you can see that one is listed there. And with that, I'm going to bring it to a close. If you have any questions,
Any questions? All right.
Having no questions, we'll move on. Next item is 5, public comments. Everyone signed up. Having no one. Item 6, communications.
We have none.
7, consent agenda. We have the minutes of the November 17th regular meeting of the board, the monthly financial report, renewal of the district's property, automobile liability, and privacy and information security insurance with the Texas Association of School Boards Risk Management Fund, $54,290 for 1/1/2023 to 12/31/2023, and item D, Bailey Neon and Sign. Does any member of the board have any item they want to pull or discuss? We have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, have a second. Second by Gap. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Next item is consider and take action to commit and designate the August 21-22 fund balance.
Let me get to where my page is. We would like to commit and designate retirement of loans or notes payable in the amount of $1,039,630.
Any member have any questions or discussion? We have a motion to commit and designate the August 21-22 fund balance.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion? A motion by Terry, we have a second? Second by Gap. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Next item is share and accept the 21-22 audit report.
So we have with us Leslie, come on up. She'll be doing our presentation. She has worked with us since I've been here doing our audits. This will be her first presentation for us, but congratulations. You are now the lead for MAUD auditors, but she is with Wilf and Henderson. You all have a bound copy of the audit along with the both letters at your place. So with that, Leslie, I'll let you get after it.
All right, so I'm just gonna hit the high points. So if y'all have questions, stop me. If you want more detail, I'll gladly go into it, but I'm just gonna go over the high points. On page 2, so this is the opinion letter that we issued. It's the most important letter that we issue. It's the audit opinion letter. In that, on the first paragraph, with the heading opinions, the second paragraph under that talks about what our opinion is. So we go in, we look at the financial statements, we ask a lot of questions, look at a lot of documentation, and then we come up with an opinion. And that's what that second paragraph says. And it says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above, they basically fairly present materially what's happening in the district, in their financial statements. So we come in, we look at everything, does it look materially correct? And we're saying, yes, it does. And so this is called an unmodified opinion, and that's exactly what you want it to say. Okay, so I'm going to go over the financial statements, the governmental financial statements. The first one I'm going to look at is on page 14. So this is your balance sheet. So you can see that there's columns, and the first column is the one that I'm mainly going to go over. It's your general fund. You can see that the district at 8/31/2022 had total assets of $5.2 million. Total liabilities of $365,000, and then you can see the bottom section is your fund balance. So this is the section that everybody wants, to look at because it's your bottom line. So what you just did was you committed those funds, which committed fund balance takes board action. So when y'all act on that, it is, it's board action, so it's committed. Now those can be changed, but for this financial statement, it's a committed fund balance. So that's $1,039,000. And that's for your retirement of loans or notes payable. And then the next section is your assigned fund balance. So assigned fund balance is not as strict. So it's basically the superintendent and the business manager kind of figuring out what they want to put. So it's not, there's no restrictions on it. They can change that. The board could commit it if they wanted to, but it's just another designated fund balance. And then the last line is your unassigned fund balance, line 3600, and that's $1.7 million. So your unassigned is, the fund balance that you have to just operate day-to-day operations. Okay, so if you'll go to page 16, this is how we got to the fund balance. So this is your income statement. So it shows that first column is your general fund. It shows total revenues, and you can see the breakdown between, what the state provided, what the feds gave, and then local money. And then the next section is all your expenditures. The biggest one is that function 11 for instruction, that $3.2 million, that's mostly all salaries. So you can come down and you can see, if you look at that line 1200, that your net change in fund balance was $241,000. So that got you to a total fund balance of 4.8. So when you know, one thing the TEA does is they look on your first rating, they do a calculation to where if your district stopped receiving revenue, how many days could you operate? And so you take the total expenses and you divide it by 365, and it gives you, it costs the district to operate $17,800 per day on average. So they get like a daily average. And so when you calculate that, we have at MOD, with unassigned fund balance, we have 98 days. So if revenue stopped, we could just operate for 98 days until we ran dry. TEA wants you at 75 days, so that will be a positive, you know, that's a positive indicator on that rating. Do y'all have any questions on those two statements? Okay. All right, so the next few pages, or the next several pages, are your notes to your financial statements. So there's a lot of detail about the district's debt, about their assets. There's a lot of detail in the next few pages, so y'all can read over that, or if you have questions, let me know. But the next statement I wanted to go over is on page 47. But we're skipping a lot of pages. So, you know, the district, TEA requires us to present your budget to actual for your general fund. So this is what that is on page 47. So it shows, you know, the board comes in at the beginning of the year, they adopt a budget, and then things happen throughout the year and there's amendments to that budget. That's that second column. And then we compare it to what the district actually spent. And so you can see on that first column, you originally thought, if you look down at that line 1,200, that's what you thought you were going to put into fund balance or what you thought you were going to pull out. So when you originally adopted your budget, you thought you were going to put in around $87,000, and then, you know, changes through the year happened, and you thought you were going to have to dip into fund balance after all your amendments by $373,000. But then at the end of the year, you know, at the end of it, what we actually did was put in $241,000. So you can kind of see where, you know, did you get more than what you anticipated? You spent less, obviously, than what you anticipated. But this is a really good schedule for y'all to kind of see how you were on your budget, which is a huge control for the district. Okay, if you go, and I'll come back to this page here in a little bit.
So better than we thought was good, right?
Yes, I mean, all those positive numbers are very good. So, you know, TEA, and that's one thing I'll point out in a minute, TEA wants to make sure that by function, which is each one of those lines, that you're spending within that function. That's what they look at. So if there's a negative number there, we didn't hit the mark very well. Now, I mean, there's not hitting the mark in an immaterial way, which is not a big deal, and then there's material. When it's big, that's when you can have a material non-compliance. But when it's little, I mean, we look at the materiality of it. Things are going to happen to where you're not within that budget, but we just want to make sure that you're in it materially. You know, that's what TEA is interested in. Okay, so on page 68, we do another letter. So TEA requires us to do an audit in accordance with government audit standards. So that's basically TEA saying, hey, we're giving you this funding, so we want this audit to be a little bit more than just your normal audit. We want you to look at internal controls, we want you to look at compliance. So that's what this letter says. It says that, you know, we came in, we did an audit in accordance with government audit standards, which is a little bit more strict than your standard, and we looked at internal controls, we looked at compliance, and we had no issues in that area. Okay, so one thing, so this, you know, there's no audit findings, you know, y'all had a clean audit. This is a clean audit. Tommy did excellent getting us all the answers to all the questions that we had, and there were a lot of documentation. The staff did excellent on getting us everything that we need. One thing that we do is we issue this letter, and this is like a side letter, so it's a letter that we issue to the board, and if there's things that we see in the audit and they're not material enough to go in here, but they're material, you know, but we feel like, hey, we probably need to communicate this to the board, then we will put them in this letter. And we do have two things that we wanted to make sure that we disclose, and if you'll go to the last page, I'll talk to y'all about those. So one thing that TEA does is they want to make sure that your cash on hand in your child nutrition fund isn't too large. And so if there is, what they want you to do is they want to know what you're going to spend that money on. So they, Mr. Tommy was already aware that this, was bigger, and they have a plan. And so we put that in there, that during the review of the food service fund, we noted that the district's cash on hand exceeds the average of 3 months operating cost. We recommend the district file a report with TDA that describes the district's plan to use excess funds. The district already had a plan. And so they have a plan to make this, we just felt like it was, it's something that TDA looks at. We wanted to make sure that we disclose that to y'all. And then the next one is on the budget. The district's amended budget for the general fund exceeded budgetary guidelines in function 51, facilities, maintenance, and operations by $26,957. We recommend the district review the balances of this fund on a continuous... Could you say it again? Oh, goodness, no. We recommend the district review the budget of this fund on a continuous basis to ascertain expenditures are within budget and the general fund is operating as planned by the board. Okay, so if you go back to this statement that I was talking about, what page was it on? We went over just a little.
Then we spent too much of it.
On function 51. So if you look at page 47, function 51, you can see that on the left side of the page there's a 0051, so it's facilities, maintenance, and operations. We went over, you can see that negative number, 26,000. Okay, so what happened here is that when we went into a contract with Ideal Impact, when we did the project for the energy efficiency, so when that contract was entered, that cost, the way that we accounted for that cost, we never recorded the actual equipment. So they come in, they put equipment in your buildings. They never recorded that. So we were just making payments. And then when we had to do the audit adjustment to make that transaction on the books, it threw us over. So the transaction is a very unique transaction. That's what Kelly told me to say. It's a very unique transaction. So it was really hard to know, with me talking to Tommy and all of us, me and Kelly looking at it, it was a different transaction. So I think it was just a lack of understanding what contract we were entering into and what we were actually, like the accounting side of it. I think we knew what we were entering into, but we didn't really understand the accounting for it. And so once we discussed all that and we all talked about it, we had to post a transaction, which ended up throwing all over on the budget. But, I've discussed it, we've discussed it with Tommy, and now we feel like that we've posted the transaction. It's exactly the way that, and we've got things lined out for how it needs to be posted in the future. But I think there was just some confusion on what the actual financial transaction and the accounting for it was. And we're seeing that at these districts. I went to one today that did the transaction with Ideal Impact, and it was different than y'all's. So I don't think there's a lot of consistency with the way that they're offering these plans, that I think there's not a lot of guidance on how to account for it. So when we nailed it down and we actually posted an entry, it threw us over. But like I said, it was nothing material that affects the actual audit. It was just something we felt like it was big enough to where we're like, ooh, y'all, we got to watch this. Because if it's over a certain amount, it has to go here. There's nothing we can do. If we find that, we have to disclose it. And so we just wanted to make sure that we communicated that to y'all.
Like a dollar amount, you said if it goes over a certain amount, what's that dollar amount?
Well, for y'all, it's different. I think it was 70,000 here is material. We look at the total, we look at total revenue and assets, and then we do a materiality calculation on that, and we take the biggest one. And so we were under it, but it was still enough to where I was like, ugh.
We wasn't even really close to the
No,
material.
and we felt, I don't feel like it's a material non-compliance at all. But I just wanted to make sure that you may leave a little bit more cushion in your budget. It's kind of y'all's choice on that. But there's just times where we find stuff in an audit and we have to post an audit adjustment. Because he's not going to catch everything. There's going to be things that he sees that I don't see, and things I see that he doesn't see. And so when there's kind of a cushion, especially in 51, if we had a little bit of cushion, we could have come under, but we didn't have much cushion.
So with that contract, we won't need to make this adjustment next year going forward?
No.
That was a
He's got-
one-time adjustment?
That's right. So it
For
was,
the
the
equipment.
transaction that we actually accounted for in this year was the actual, it's not your little payments. It's the actual equipment, like they came in and they put stuff into the building. And so we can't, it was almost like a loan, but a piece of it was service and a piece was equipment. So that's what we posted. We posted the equipment side and he knows how to post it, but no, the big transaction is this year. So, but we just didn't have enough room in the budget to, a lot of times we do, and we'll find stuff and we'll post it and there's no issue, but the budget was really tight. Do y'all have any other questions?
Thank you.
No, that's a lot.
You did a good job explaining.
Thank you.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, appreciate all your hard work.
All right, I'm driving home.
All right.
You
Have a
don't
good
want to
one.
stay?
No.
Nobody wants to stay, huh?
Nobody ever wants to say.
Mr. Captain,
Next item is information items,
we
principal.
gotta accept the audit.
Yes.
Motion.
We heard, now we need to accept.
I'll make that motion.
So a motion to accept the 2021-2022 audit report by Aaron. Have a second? Second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. You can Terry on the second there. Information items now.
Now we're ready.
Principal's report and athletic director report.
Ms. Howe, is your helper going to present?
I doubt it.
We can certainly give him an opportunity.
Okay. So if you look at your board report, we have the current attendance for each grade. We're at a total of 219. And you have your average attendance percentage for each grade. I did realize I put in numbers for Redwater and LE, those students we have there, and I left, there is a total of 4 at Redwater. We have 3 in PPCD, and I left that little number off because it looks like we just have 1, but the total says 4. So there was 3 in PPCD. So there's that. Are there any questions about that? Okay. And then you have the people who were recognized tonight, the staff members and the Soaring Cardinals. And then in our spotlights, we have Maud Elementary is a 5-peat UIL academic champions. We're very excited about that. So this is the 5th year in a row. And big congratulations go out to our hardworking students and coaches and those who put in all that time and effort to help us get to that win. Then the next piece is the students who participated in academic UIL. They actually were here on a day when the other students were out. They all got to participate and go in to see a movie at Morris Theater. And so that's a picture of everybody. Well, there still have some on the other side that were middle school that you couldn't see in this picture, but that were at the theater and we saw Lyle Lyle Crocodile. So that they had a lot of fun with that. Okay, and then we had our senior citizen luncheon where our students who were in the oral reading category for UIL, they presented, and those oral readers were Britt Hawkins, Chloe Teague, Olivia Wright, Adeline Nunn, Heaven Ross, and Reed Coleman, and Miss Dickens is their coach, and so they read to the seniors. And then we just finished up our MAUD can drive, our can food drive, and we don't have a total number of cans because the last day was yesterday, so she hadn't quite gotten all, and we had a contest too about which class brought the most, and so we don't have the final of all of that yet, but I can report back next month and let you know. And then the last thing is we had Christmas parties today on the last day of the semester, and so that went really well. And they were in the morning, and so we had a lot of students enjoy that. One piece that I forgot to put in here that I wanted to say is for the first time we did interim assessments with our students, and that is something that TEA is kind of wanting us to do. It's online, and so we did that this week with some of our students. It's more of the STAR age students, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Some of them took unit assessments on Cambium, which is going to be the STAR platform. Kind of gives them more practice, and the unit assessments go with our new curriculum. And then the interim assessment is something that's made by TEA. So we did that this week too, for the first time ever. And our upcoming events, we have Teacher Prep Day tomorrow, and we have Christmas break. And then I couldn't think of anything else that we have between now and the next board meeting. So there you go. That's it.
Thank you.
That's it? That's all you got?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Sally, y'all be careful.
Yes, thank you.
Brett, y'all be careful.
All right, middle school, high school report. Our attendance has been a lot better this month. I think last month as a total, we were like 92, just barely 92. This time we're at 94 and a half almost. Our sixth grade numbers, I think last time percentage wise, we were at like 89%. You see there, we've grown almost 5% on our attendance percentage. There was a couple other things that were part of that. There was sickness and things like that last month. We have been still dealing with that, but our kids are there at school trying to get ready for semester exams, testing, things like that we've talked about. One of the things I will bring to your attention is on the middle school total, this is 110. It was actually supposed to be 111, and high school total was 126. We had one drop and add in the last couple days, but we were still at the total of 237. Our band had their concert on the 8th. It was really good. Mr. Fannin decided on the 4th song to play a really strong song, something that was going to challenge us. It had so many different parts in it. Kids had to move in different parts, and they performed it just unbelievably well. It was really, really good. Very proud of them. Our 6th grade and our 7th grade did 2 songs each. They are steadily growing and learning. It's going to be really exciting to watch over the next few years. Ms. Howe had kind of hit on it already. I didn't put it in there, but we are a 2-time champ for UIL now. I can't really say back-to-back because there was a little bit of separation in there. But this was the 2nd time we won it, and we're very proud of that. I think we almost doubled everybody else in all categories there for our middle school, which is a huge jump for us. We're extremely proud of our kiddos. They have come out in numerous numbers now to start helping us out there with that. Our semester exams the last few days have went really smooth thanks to Ms. Brower. She put a lot of work into it to help out and make sure everybody was where they were supposed to be, getting the tests they needed, making sure the Chromebooks, the calculators and all that. She did an unbelievable job helping arrange that and get it going this year. We participated in Toys for Tots and took them down to the Methodist Church the other day, or this morning. We had several students that participated in the Christmas parade that was on the 4th. And then our all-region band tryouts took place. And we had 2 that made the all-region band, which was Emma Fothergill and Alyssa Snow. Of course, those girls are seniors. But we have one coming up pretty soon with the drum line. We think they could do a pretty good job for us coming up. Our Stuco helped out at the Cornerstone Retirement Homes, and as you can tell, they posted something on their own website of how much they appreciated our kids coming by and just talking and listening was the big thing. Just giving those people a chance to talk to somebody, so it was a really good deal for our kids. Things coming up, of course, is Christmas and New Year's Day, and then other than that, that's several little things here and there, but that's about it. All right, thank you guys.
Athletic report. Football team finished 9-3 on the year. I listed all the all-district and honorable mention and academic all-district. You can just read through those, so I don't have to say all those names. But we did really well. Team was represented very well. Girls basketball finished 2nd at the James Bowie tournament. We were really proud of that. They play New Diana tomorrow night and Overton next Tuesday in Maud, starting at 1 o'clock here. JV girls are actually 5-0 on the year, so we're starting to see some growth in the younger the younger ages as it's coming up. A-team in junior high girls is 2-2 on the year, and the B team's undefeated. Boys basketball, we won the James Bowie tournament. I don't know when the last time we won a basketball tournament around here is, but I think it's been a little while, so we're really proud of those guys. For that, we're playing McLeod Friday night with the JV starting at 6 o'clock. And the junior high boys are 3-1 on the year. Grass is growing on the baseball and softball fields. Anybody got anything else?
Be loud. Nothing to it.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Next item is 11, 6-month review of return to in-person instruction and continuity of services plan.
All right, we have put these plans in place. When we came back from COVID, as part of our federal guidelines, we do review these every 6 months. We've got no recommended revisions. The plan has been working well. We've seen good academic growth, and kids are here at school.
All right. Item 12, consider and approve fence upgrades.
Okay, we've upgraded here on the front with our iron fence. We've talked about with the new safety guidelines coming after TEA that we need to add to the back of our fence, the old chain link sections, anti-scaling devices. So we put a topper on top of that, which would be a 3-strand across the top all the way, so to go from the rock gym back up here to the playground. That would extend on the outside of the fence, and this project would include repair to all the top rail, reconnection to anything that's any of the bottom, or any repairs that need to be taken to the chain link fence, as well as the replacement of the housing authority fence that's 4 foot. That would move to a 6-foot chain link fence between those two. We've talked to the housing authority, and we're not 100% sure who put the original fence up, but they have written a letter giving us authority to replace it to whatever we need. We'll move inside of that fence with a 6-foot section there. And at that point, everything inside of our fences around our campus should be considered a secure area. Richardson Fences giving us a quote for that, which I'd recommend is $36,000. Get my number here. Somewhere, $36,160.77. We would be able to use our safety grant from TEA, which we're receiving $200,000. We'd be able to use that those funds for that repair and improvement.
Any questions or discussion? Do you have a motion to approve the fence upgrade?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Terry, do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Gap, all in favor, raise your right hand. Shan? Unanimous.
What's up?
I'm sure they want something. All right, superintendent's report.
All right, our fence gates and projects have been completed. We had a little bit of a delay as we had to run some new cabling, some conduit issues we had over there. When we come back from January, we'll have those enacted. Our plan will be to have those open and close on a set schedule. Anyone that will be entering into the elementary or behind that fence will need to ring in from the outside. So all that should be functional at this point. We'll enact that when we come back to school in January. Other upgrades, now that the fence project will start, Richardson's told me they should start this upgrade once it's approved. Hopefully over the break, they'll be able to start getting that stuff out there together. We are looking at all the new safety and security guidelines from TEA. Some of the areas that we'll need to look at will be here in the front of the school with anti-entry film on these windows. It'll be outside of our secure area. I've got some quotes that are coming in on that. Again, we'll be able to use the TEA grant money to make those improvements. And from what I'm seeing at this point, they won't be near as bad as what I thought they would be. We're getting in the neighborhood of 15,000 or so to do these front sections is what we're kind of looking at, but we'll certainly have that done. All that'll have to be done by next school year. At this point, our server issue, they are taking the original server we had ordered back. We cannot, for whatever reason, get the parts to make it work, and we've had a new one ordered to be sent in so that we can get all the communications and AI up. For whatever reason, we're unable to get the parts from where we've been, so Mark's working on that. Hopefully we'll have all that coming up. You have at your spot an election timeline. We'll have 2 board members up this year, which would be Melford and RJ's positions. That timeline will start in January for a May 6th election. So the first day to sign up will be January the 18th, and that'll run through February the 17th. But you have that information at your place. Personnel evaluations and contracts, we'll start those when we come back from January. January is the superintendent evaluation. February, we've done our principals, directors in March, and teachers in April. That's been our schedules previously. Facility committee, we're looking at having, we're starting to get information and numbers back on some of the recommendations from that facility committee. We're going to have one more meeting we'd like to have at the beginning of January to present some of that information that's come back. Looking at the possibility of January 5th, which is a Thursday. If y'all would check your calendars for those members that are on that. But calling that meeting this week with the idea being that we'll go through all the numbers and construction estimates of what some of that would be, and then come back in January with the recommendation to the board from that committee.
6:30, when we do that?
We've done that at 6, I believe.
6, good. All right.
Letter F, we've got Northeast Texas Tri-District SSA, which is our shared services agreement with LE, Redwater, and us. Liberty ILO has given us a formal letter that they plan to withdraw from that SSA beginning next school year. Redwater and us will be meeting first part of January to start looking at options on what we can do with that, but it will continue as is through this school year. We'll have to come with our plan on how we're going to be able to address those students and the needs of those kids starting next school year. But we're going to start having those planning meetings. We've had some and have an idea of some things that we may do. That'll be some information that'll continue in the next semester that we'll have to come back to the board with.
How many kids are we talking about?
So if you look on your two reports, there's a pretty good way to see that. Anyone that's saying that we're at LE, we had approximately a total of 11 kids. I think was our maximum. That certainly can change and flux. But all the kids that go to the PPCD, I believe we're going to keep the same, which is our early childhood learning that's at Redwater. That's what we discussed. But all the kids that are listed there as LE students are the ones that we're going to have to come up with. And we have some good plans for them. We're going to make sure they're taken care of. So that'll be something that we'll have to kind of work through. But we did get formal notification this month that would take place. That we'll have to, that LE is going to leave our agreement. All right, I think that's all I've got on those.
All right, we're going into executive session at 7:18 p.m. We'll discuss personnel according to Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, discussion of personnel. We'll take a short break and reconvene in executive session.
Tommy, you want to get this so I don't lose it?
All right, we're returning to open session at
Sorry, I didn't put you on.
7:46 p.m. The next item is consider to take action on personnel contract recommendations. We have
We have none at this point.
Next item is adjourned. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous.